All right, welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. How we doing, Billy?
Well, we're back.
We're back.
And it's actually Thursday.
Oh fuck, it is Thursday. Jeez, we've been gone for quite a while. Missed a couple of days, I guess, and here I am thinking it's the wrong day as it is. So,
Well, it's kind of like living in Groundhog Day anyway. Every day it's something new, some new shit going down.
or maybe like the Truman Show, as they talked about with Trump. He's kind of all in his own bubble. They just tell him how funny he is. That's Jon Stewart talking about it from the night where he was on full display with his comedy routine, calling out the writers that it wasn't funny, and none of it was funny. His jokes are terrible, and people laugh because he's the president.
Well, his jokes aren't jokes, honestly.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, he knows what he's planning on doing and what he's been doing, and I don't know why any of those journalists shook his hand. I don't know why they even show up to that fucking charade. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, they're useful idiots, and if you want to keep getting interviews from the regime, then you better, play along.
Yeah, it's pathetic on all fronts.
And it's a whole lot of grifting, obviously, from above, and all the gaslighting. Yesterday was a big moment for Rand Paul's Senate hearings to put Fauci on the stand because, I don't know, COVID seems pretty relative at this point. What is this?
This is called just anything to, divert attention, divert eyes. Oh, well, what about COVID? What about the 2020 election? Yeah, well, let's see. Climate change is raging. We're in an endless war that we can't seem to get out of. You're fucking actively conspiring to steal the midterms or even worse, shut them down. So yeah, nothing to see here, really, I guess. Let's go back and revisit something from 6 years ago that, by the way, this guy tried to control, and your administration fucked it up. But let's not look at it that way.
Perhaps we remember some of this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Good times.
shine a light up your ass.
Maybe something like that. And then you had this woman.
God, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, he said, hey, if we stop testing, the numbers will improve. Hey, if we didn't let that cruise ship in, we wouldn't even have this problem. I mean, to blame this on Biden and the past administrations, and then to talk about how he did such an amazing job, it's just more gaslighting. But these are great distractions. I did see today, as you mentioned, the Iran war, that the Senate was not able to pass the Wars Act to rein this guy in. So there was a lot of heavy bombing. They plan on doing it for the next couple weeks. We don't have a ton of munitions to be doing this. Finally, through a Freedom of Information Act, they had to come clean on what's actually happening in the Middle East that we're not being told about because I guess we can't handle it. First, they confiscated phones from service members over there because, hey, that's what we do when we act like fascists. You can't have your phone. You can't be showing video because we need to control the message. Everything's fine. Everybody's doing great. We're having steak. I saw it. They were having breakfast steaks. It was amazing.
Breakfast steaks.
But yeah, through the Freedom of Information Act that was snuck through, we find out that from February to April, you had 400 plus casualties, something we didn't talk about. We have lost 18 service members, but let's trim that down to 14 because I declared a ceasefire, so those 4 don't count. Tell the families thanks, but no thanks.
Does that also mean they don't get any kind of combat death benefits for the family?
It's a great question. I really think it's just numbers. I do think the military will do right by them. Clearly, this was an act of war, and they were killed. I mean, these were people that should be counted, not disregarded.
Yeah, not a war. We were technically under ceasefire. Not a war. Probably not even dead.
So the House did pass the Wars Act to rein in Trump, and then we go to the Senate where it has to pass the final hurdle. but it did not. It failed 49-50. Of course, Fetterman votes with the Republicans, also sits down with Bibi. What a great honor it was to have Bibi there.
What a fucking chode that guy is. Bibi and fucking Fetterman. Just become a Republican, man. Democrats don't want you.
Stop threatening and just do it, because
Just
you
do
are. Susan Collins, Markowski, and Rand Paul, who's completely out of his mind, did vote with the Democrats. Maybe you're missing one person that wasn't able to vote, but I'm sure he's doing great in rehab.
Big Mitch.
Big Mitch. Nobody's actually seen him, but I'm sure he's doing great. Somewhere. Anyway,
Weekend with Mitch.
it's not helping the economy. It's not helping gas prices. These groceries. In fact, the second quarter came out today. It was very underwhelming. I believe Lutnick told us this quarter we'd be seeing about 6% growth because he's a liar and he's the Commerce Secretary of lying. As it turns out,
He does
it was
it
really
very well.
he does. As it turns out, it was about 1.2%. There's old lying Lutnick. 1.2%. That's just not great. In fact, it's pretty terrible. This golden economy that they keep bragging about is just not happening.
It's golden. What do you know?
Golden, sure, but no. So 1.5%. It was expected at 1.8, which is well below the 2% that they had hoped for, and the 6% that they guaranteed was going to happen, but never did. And then they keep piling on. So you're not going to get any relief with the economy. So what are we going to do? We're going to end Medicare subsidies for seniors. What is that? Part D? No more.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's going to fade, which just tells you, I mean, it's 25 million Americans, but it just tells you they used to give two shits about seniors because they vote.
Yeah, they used to be a very powerful voting bloc. Now they don't care, apparently, because they're not going to count any votes anyway.
Absolutely correct. Don't worry about it. But by the same token, we're going to watch Elon do his thing again, where he's going to pump in $100 to $120 million to help the Republicans through his America PAC. He put in $240 million to stay out of jail for the presidential election, as you recall, in 2024. Money's not an issue. And then these guys just talk about how great he is. Elon. Bissent was on talking about, with Hannity, of course, you're not even going to need retirement anymore, okay? You don't need these accounts because once AI, the abundance for the American people is going to be amazing. You don't bother saving. You don't need it. We're going to have so much abundance, 5 or 6 years. Now, Bissent said that, because Elon's so amazing and such an inventor, such a philanthropist, that push the timeline back a little bit. But 10, 12 years from now, we're going to have so much. I'm going to be bathing in gold, apparently.
Well, that's golden showers. But yeah, try telling it to somebody who's just trying to make it to the end of the month or to the next pay period. But if you wait 10 years, it's like like the church used to tell the peasants and the serfs back in the Middle Ages who were suffering and living terrible lives. Well, yeah, but in the next life, you're going to be on top. Don't you worry.
And the grift just continues. So we saw United and Delta gave $1 million to Trump, and then he ended the flight cancellation compensation rule. No more. We just flew. It was a nightmare. Sean Duffy can fluff Trump all he wants about the master class. It was a nightmare. I blame Duffy. I felt that way in the airport. They don't care. Now they're on to Dulles, which an architect had designed it, but Trump's going to put his own spin on it because it's Washington and this is Dulles, and we need to make it more Trump-like. So I assume that's a bunch of gold and some stupid shit. Palm Beach is going to be the same thing. And again, Duffy with his master class that Trump puts on, as he mentions, illegals, etc. It's just gross. But my point is that you just have to give money. TurboTax gave him $1 million, and Trump killed free tax filing, if you recall. You just have to have the money, and then you get what you want. Most people don't have that luxury, or they just don't have the money to do it. Now we're going to get rid of all these, and this is with Duffy as well. We're going to get rid of all these immigrants that were prioritized by the last administration for doing the work that they did for truckers. So now it's going to be called freedom haulers, and we're going to take all the veterans and put them behind 18-wheelers. Sounds great. Maybe if they drove a truck in the service, but to Trump's point, if you haven't, we'll waive a lot of the red tape. 2 weeks, we'll teach you how to do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because
driving a car.
Nothing to it. It's just like a bigger car. You can do it. Anybody can. Yeah, not true. How many people actually want to do that job? It's a hard job.
Really hard.
Away from home a lot. It's not a healthy lifestyle because you're sitting all day long. Yeah, I don't think so. And here's something else. The trucking industry is actively looking at going towards, auto-driven trucks anyway.
You saw that Simpson episode too?
Yeah. And you know what? The Simpsons are never wrong about these things. So that's something that they're actively looking into. It's hard to make money as a trucker now. It's not like it used to be when you were a Teamster. Most of these places don't want to hire union drivers. You're an owner operator. So you're covering all your own shit, your own healthcare, your own expenses. You're not getting anything from that. A lot of people don't want to do that job. We're going to make them freedom haulers.
Well, we're going to push the veterans into that because what else are they doing? You're just going to go fishing in your retirement? Fuck that. Get behind the wheel of the big rig.
Yeah, see the country.
That was Duffy, but that was via minivan. Also not great.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we paid the tab for that one, didn't we?
But it just goes on. So I'm sure you saw with the World Cup, they talked about Infantino, who's the guy who's been up Trump's butt with FIFA. They want to sell off parts of the game to make it more profitable for some because there's a lot of money sitting there on the table. Maybe you didn't recognize that.
Yeah, and that guy's a scumbag too.
He is. Most of the European countries said, we're not going to participate. So knock yourself out, but we're out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop seeing the international European teams, nobody's going to be watching because that's where most of the talent is. No slight to USA or Mexico, which I thought they were pretty fascinating as well. But let's be real here. It's not our sport. To that end as well, Trump went to GM to talk about manufacturing and all these manufacturing jobs and all the factories they're building. And all he could talk about were trans people, stolen elections and stupid shit. Couldn't stay on task. Then he blurts out that we bought 250 Escalades. We just ordered them. It's going to cost the American public $22 million in tax money because, they got to be retrofitted for, to withstand, grenades and stuff like that. But in DC, it's super safe, so you wouldn't think it would need that much. But it's going to cost. Somebody's getting paid. They look sharp, as his words. He spoils his regime people, and you're paying for it. So real nice, and thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of shitty. Kind of shitty indeed. So, it's just the bombardment is so much of Trump's clouding of what's actually going on. I mean, these data centers are rolling through. We had our first public lands. BLM gave away land for a data center, and they were able to do it because there was in 2023 an old blueprint for wind energy. Was it wind? No, actually it was solar. And that was in 2023. It sat there, didn't move forward because this guy hates solar and wind and anything else that might not be coal driven. So they said, hey, worked for this. Why don't we build a data center there? How could that hurt anybody? So it's in Boulder City, Nevada. They're going to put up this data center, which does seem pretty concerning. 7 states share the water that they're going to be sharing. This is kind of a test case for federal lands that are by communities. Let me just put it up here. Sorry for that guy too. He's kind of screwed. But this is the first one that's been approved on public land. It's 3 miles from residential homes. You can see the scale of it. It's going to be pretty big, but what's to worry? The water is going to come from the Colorado River Basin. I would like to point out that 40 million people in 7 states also share from that water source. But the priority needs to be this data center because it's going to make us so rich. It's going to be.
It's going to keep that bubble pumped up and keep us from losing our fucking shirts, if that's what you mean. Yeah. This whole thing, it's such a fucking giant scam.
It is. It's kind of gross. And then you'll get little offshoots of things that are happening with that. I did see where AI companies are buying rare books and old books. Let me put this up if I can.
Yeah, dude, this is frightening. It's chilling and absolutely appalling.
So they're purchasing these used and rare books. They're scanning the original content and then they're trashing them. They're destroying the originals. Now, this machine here can do the copying without destroying the books, but half of it is the fact that if they destroy it, everything that's scanned disappears from the physical world permanently. And then the knowledge that survives is only in these training of the data centers.
Dude, this just makes me sick. It really does. It's like, it's the modern day version of burning books.
More or less, you're right.
Essentially. You know what they said? Where first they start burning books, then they end up burning people. And that is just, it's disgusting. It's what it is. Destroying books like that. So if you have rare and old books, hang on to them. Don't sell them. Don't fucking give them away. Hang on to them because books are important.
They sit on these shelves for centuries. Why now? Why are we taking the information and then destroying it? I mean, it's like pulling up the ladder, which is a real Dick Cheneyism.
And what's to stop these assholes from scanning all of the Library of Congress books and destroying them? Very
good point. We're just catering to all of this. The data centers are now exempt from acid rain regulations. He's removing caps for them for sulfur dioxide, for nitrogen oxides. Don't worry about it, guys. You're doing enough good, and we're going to be rich. I keep coming back to that because it's so ridiculous.
He's also declared them to be military outposts, so you can't do anything about them now.
Correct. You have no say. In fact, I saw a town hall where a guy just applauded when they were trashing the data centers, as one speaker was. It was a teacher, I believe. He just clapped. He was arrested, hauled out of there, and that seems pretty ridiculous. But this is how we go. This guy, Jay Clayton, I thought it was an interesting tie-in. He was just approved yesterday as the director of national intelligence. Confirmed by our amazing government. But the story with him was in 2019, he was the Southern District of New York's prosecutor that persuaded New Mexico, which is an ongoing investigation now. He persuaded the New Mexico Attorney General to shut down the Epstein investigation by promising that he would share evidence of state crimes. 2 weeks ago, as the Southern District of New York's attorney, Jay Clayton, right here, broke that promise, and he's not going to cooperate. And now he's been confirmed as the director of national intelligence. So if you do the right thing in this group, they reward you. That's not necessarily the right thing for our country or for justice and truth, but it got him a great job.
Oh, yeah. And it, was another link to these fucking crimes in these files that is not going to be unearthed. So, yeah, but I still think there's way too much. You can't put that toothpaste back in there. You can only shut down so much. And too many people already have it.
And keep in mind that this guy has no experience at all in intelligence. I'm not saying he has no intelligence, but he's got no background.
I doubt he's got any intelligence or integrity or any kind of a backbone. These people all fucking suck.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible person, clearly. They did talk about Blanche today because of Cronin and Tillis, who will be leaving. I guess Trump's willing to maybe take that off the table for now until they leave, and then he'll put him in as Department of Justice, head of the Department of Justice. But for now, he might take his application off because it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to approve this guy. He said it himself. He's Trump's lawyer. and he acts like it. He's not the American people's lawyer. He's all about Trump. And you're right about these Epstein files. Now, when Blanche did meet with the survivors, he was a total dick, and he rushed them along, asked them to get to the point, made them feel like idiots, and that's not how you treat victims. We mentioned Lutnick earlier. We saw him on the island. We talked about this months ago. He got his nannies there. He took his whole family to the island.
Bring the kids.
You can't hide what is. That knowledge is out there, and these are terrible people. So hopefully accountability will come. I don't know when that'll come.
It was the same guy that didn't give his brother a heads up about 9/11. Oh, have a good day at work, bro.
Yeah, but he did shed some tears later.
Crocodile tears.
Tears were shed.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, he sounds like a terrible person. And as all this goes on, the election's coming up. They're wanting to trim the voter rolls. I know in Missouri, we keep talking about Amendment 4. The governor's all in. He's pushing for it. But the reality is, if you take away your state income tax, you're taking money from other places. You're going to be taxing the shit out of things you use every day. It's not going to be about that car that you might buy every 8 years. It's going to be about your groceries. It's going to be about the appliances and little things that you need daily to live will be taxed. And it's going to hurt the poorest people the most because everything will be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real problem.
Yeah, and some genius defending this in a letter to the Post-Dispatch and the letters to the editor. Well, you don't want to pay the tax, you don't have to. You don't have to buy things. Don't buy it. Really? Hey. So I'm going to give up buying toothpaste, toilet paper, soap, paper towels, food. What a fucking moron. You're either a plant of this stupid government or you're just a complete fucking moron. And maybe both.
Could be both. The point is that if you were for legalizing weed, sports betting, raising the minimum wage, expanding Medicare, and codifying reproductive rights, you're probably going to want to vote no against this because none of those things would have happened if we weren't able to put ballot initiatives together. Mm-hmm. This would make it so that a handful of people would be able to allow these things not to come to a vote because they're against it.
Yeah, well, we're small business owners. We know better.
Yeah, well, and to your point, the minimum wage that we asked for and passed with 60% of the people voting for it was kind of poo-pooed, as you said, by the legislators who know better.
Yeah, we know, but we're small business owners. Here's something. If you can't run your small business and pay your people a living wage, don't run a fucking small business because you're terrible at it.
Well, yeah, and the misinformation is just too much. They talked about, oh, you're going to force these people out of business because they're going to have to pay people. But there were requirements.
Yeah, and they always talk about the hidden hand of the market. That's the market economy. Hey, that's capitalism. If you can't keep up, you fall by the wayside. That's Same with restaurants. We recently ate at a very nice restaurant that pays all of their people a living wage. They moved locations. They kept all their people.
Yeah.
Extremely happy, extremely dedicated, really great experience. And yet, most restaurants, it's up to you, the diner, to pay their people. They pay them fucking shit, $2 an hour in the paycheck. And you pay for the experience. And, a lot of these people that come in and spend money don't even leave a tip.
Yeah.
So again, if you can't afford to pay your restaurant staff a living wage, don't open a restaurant.
And if you can't afford to tip the staff, don't eat at home.
Eat at home or go to McDonald's. Oh, you probably can't afford that either these days. But yeah, it's just a disgrace. When we were stuck in the airport the other night, I got something from one of the airport places, and at the bottom of the sales receipt, 3.5% of this wasn't a sales tax. I forget, goods tax or something, does not go to the employee. So please leave a gratuity. What?
Yeah.
Where does this you just arbitrarily took 3.5% and put it back into your pocket, essentially. And I'm sure this was run by some corporation. And it's up to me to pay your employee, which, I tipped, but what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, you tipped, but there was also several fees on there.
And that 3.5% didn't get, you took it out like places will do that. If you have a party of 6, 10% or whatever goes, we're automatically going to include the gratuity.
But
So
we're
we're going to
finding-
charge you for a gratuity, but they don't get it. We're going to keep it, and you
But then
can
you,
get more.
but then you need to tip on top of that.
Mhm.
It took me this long to figure out with the credit card because I kept trying to pay cash. There's some items that are too, I don't carry that kind of cash, but everything has a 2.3% finance charge now on your credit card. Sometimes as high as 3%. And it's all about these wonderful tariffs. Who's paying for those tariffs? Well, apparently we are, and I'm not smart enough to realize that it's been a service fee on your credit card to recoup their money. And these little fees that you're talking about, there was a dollar tip added, which also didn't go to staff necessarily. There was your 2% that they're putting also not to employees. They're having to recoup their money, even though they're supporting these policies. They're only supporting them because they're gouging us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. And it took me this long to figure out what all these little surcharges are and why. And now I know. So I can't defend the tariffs when I feel like it's directly coming out of our pocket, but we're being told that it's bringing in so much money. Oh, these tariffs are making so much money.
Well, not for the average American, that's for sure.
No, he's getting fucked. And then locally, you had Panera Bread Company moved to their headquarters, which it started here. It's a local guy that started Panera Bread Company, whatever you want to call it, off to Boston, because I think the parent company is Avon Pan. Now, I do know that they were bought by a German hedge fund years ago. I don't know who owns it now. But the point of the story is that they're offering local workers who have been here for 20 some years $50,000 to relocate. 50 grand. Bring the whole family. I'm sure the cost of living in Boston's got to be comparable to Missouri.
Oh, sure.
Not bloody likely. And you're basically saying, see you, buddy. You don't want the 50 grand? Don't bother coming. And you weren't going to make it anyway. But it's offensive because the workers took it as a quiet layoff. You basically just got rid of us. 50 grand would be nice, but after taxes, say it's 30, and then moving expenses are probably going to wipe out that whole thing. So,
well, and how long do you have to be there before you actually get that 50 grand?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Probably 6 months before you wash out. I don't know.
Yeah. So again, hedge funds are like swarms of locusts or virus. They just fucking gorge on the host and leave just a fucking husk behind.
Yeah. Nothing to that.
And that's when that place went downhill. I used to like Panera. I liked it when it was St. Louis Bread Company. And once that fucking hedge fund bought it, the food was shit.
The sandwiches got small.
They got small. Everything smelled and tasted the same. Like everything tasted alike, and it wasn't good. I can tell you that. It was just gross.
Well, and it used to be a place where, at least around us, you had a lot of people, people playing chess. I mean, it was a community area to go to, whether it was outside, inside, and you could gather there. You had managers that actually knew the clients that came in, the customers on a daily basis. We are by a university, and they still were family friendly. And that all seemed to go away. As soon as they closed the one by us, they started downsizing. They started using shittier product. Yeah, kind of gross. We've seen it with all of the hedge funds and private equity that come in, as you said, and just destroy anything that's worthwhile. Now, we're still dealing with this explosive diarrhea. So cyclospora, and it's only spread. It just gets quieter because they don't want people talking about it. But interestingly enough, as we were out of town, the farmers market, particularly in Pennsylvania, was amazing. And I feel like we do have that locally here too. And I didn't, again, put it together as quickly as I probably should have. But this is probably where you're not going to get explosive diarrhea. I know Pennsylvania is great for agriculture. We actually grew up in the area as well. But the tomatoes, the peppers, the onions, the cucumbers, like lettuce, kale, beets, anything you could want. And I would rather pay a little bit more to take care of actual farmers, not the Scott Bessents out there that claim to be farmers. And I feel your pain, my brother.
Yeah.
I'm only worth $500 million to get produce that won't sicken you, but still allow you to eat well. and eat right, something that's going to be beneficial for them and for you, as opposed to pulling that lettuce out of the bag and then, 6 days later, you better be close to a toilet type of thing.
Yeah, for the next 2 weeks.
And as we keep talking about, it's in your community. When shit hits the fan, nobody's coming from California, Texas, New York. You're dealing with what you're dealing with in your own backyard. It would be a good thing to get ahead of the curve on some of this. Certainly, I'm going to look into it because I don't want explosive diarrhea, and I feel like they're only looking for a couple of parasites and pathogens, and now we're off that.
We're not doing that anymore.
Million eggs were recalled for salmonella.
Dude.
So again, I have a compost person that I pay because I go through a lot of produce that I'm willing to pay for them to be able to compost the remnants of some of the shitty fruits and vegetables that I'm sold, that I pay a ton for, that are rotten by the time it's day 2 at my house. But they're also in the business of selling eggs. They're willing to give you compost back if you want to start your own garden. I mean, again, everything has to be local, and I think that's part of the lesson that we're learning. We saw that during COVID. You weren't getting help if you were in a blue state. It turns out they weren't going to give you shit anyway, except tell you to go fuck yourself. Thanks for that. Trump goes to these talks, and he's supposed to be the leader of the free world, and he's supposed to be the president of the United States of America, as KK Caroline likes to say. But they all turn into rallies. It's all about the Democrats are into, you send your kid to school as a boy and he comes back a girl, and the stolen election and all the other nonsense. It's like you're speaking on behalf of one group of people, which is getting smaller and smaller. He's losing a lot of Republican support just because his policies are garbage. He has no way out of this war. He's screaming at his inner circle because he's trapped and he has no way out. And he says, oh, look, they want to deal with me. And then the Iranians hold up their phone. They're like, no messages, or blocked, not interested. Stop the grift. Yeah. And then you have Bibi there, Netanyahu, coming to be there for what's his name that was just buried, if he's buried.
Oh, Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham. Trump gave a tap on the casket.
After he woke up.
Lindsey, maybe I'm assuming you're up there. He's right here. What do you mean you know where he is? Like, so ridiculous. But why is Bibi coming in? And then it turns out he's giving his orders. He's telling Hegseth what to do. He's telling Rubio what to do. Bypass the stinky guy. I'm sure everybody saw the video of that funeral with the Secret Service guy behind him.
Yeah.
It had to be painful. And I guarantee it, he drew the short straw to get that seat.
Oh, I'm sure. And just watch Trump's face. He looks like a man who just shit his pants.
That's when he was awake, okay?
Yeah.
Fuck.
What do you think woke him up?
It's just crazy. And we could go on all day, which we're not going to. I promised you a shorty. I just wanted to get back to put out some of this information. But I will say that it's not getting better, and they don't care. Whether it's your grocery prices or your housing costs or education. We don't believe in that stuff anymore. It's all about the grift. It's all about how much money I can make. And just for the record, you can't take it with you. So I just don't understand the end game. But
I don't know. We all end up in the same place. So, yeah. And, I think these billionaires would be a lot happier if they gave some of their money away and did some good with it. But that's not how they're wired.
No, instead, we're going to surveil the shit out of you. We're going to track everything you do. We got our flock cameras. Now we're going to turn that into Axon, who has a closer tie to Palantir. And, then we get back to our Israel connection. So it's amazing. But if you're not doing anything, well, that's not how this country was formed.
If you're not applauding something that we, are for, if you're not standing up and saluting, if you're even just giving a funny look at something we say, we're going to arrest you because that's a crime.
Yeah.
So we talk about the coming of a police state. I really fear we're already there. It's the curtains come down. We just don't see it yet. It's like a chicken running around with his head cut off. We're still moving, but it's almost too late, I'm afraid.
I think you're right. So be aware, keep your eyes open and know that it's going on around you. I mean, you can put your head down and pretend that they're supporting you, but they're really not. And you're going to have to start your own community of supporting yourself and those around you before we can get out of this mess. Yeah, I did have a happy ending. I don't know if you had anything, but I'm going to throw this up. We saw this the other day, Seabright Beach in Santa Cruz. The 16-year-old lifeguard, Ryder Williams, and I'm not going to show the video, but this is him. He had helped this Nathaniel Ray, who was a 10-year-old. The waves came up. It wasn't a matter of the 10-year-old doing anything wrong. It was up to his ankles, up to his feet. But these waves were pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Swept him out. So the 16-year-old, it's his first lifeguarding job. I don't know if it was his first day necessarily, but he locked onto this kid, and they just kept getting pounded and pounded. These waves kept coming in, but he would not let go of this kid as they got swept out. People started to come to try and help. Other lifeguards came out. But this kid was truly a hero. His one statement was he was not going to let go of that kid, regardless of what went down. So they were able, I think it was about 8 people, were able to actually pull him out. The thing that I also found super impressive was, we do this all the time. The one chick in the park calls the little kid the N-word. So we started GoFundMe, and she makes $100,000. People started to try and donate money to this kid, and his family was like, no, we're not interested in anything. This kid did what he did, and it wasn't for any purpose other than to do his job, and that he was a really good human. For a 16-year-old kid, pretty impressive and amazing. So, props to him, and also for not turning this into some stupid grift, which is what we all do. Because if I could be an influencer, you bet I would.
That's right. I'm going to go to Arizona State and get my influencer degree.
Yes, sir. Anyway, so props to him. Great job, and pretty amazing. If you get to see the video, check it out, because
those waves were really something. That was very impressive.
I mean, we dealt with a little bit of a tide pooling of us down the sea beach front, but nothing like this. But the sea is nothing to mess with. Oceans are just incredibly powerful and something to respect. But this kid, well done.
Mm-hmm.
Anything, Billy?
Well, Steelers camp started yesterday. The Pirates are still technically relevant. It looks like they're doing their damnedest to make sure that they don't stay that relevant. But hey, we asked for Steeler camp. We got it. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. So can't really complain about that.
Yeah, so far so good. And missing Tomlin, but maybe not so much. Maybe more about his personality and less about his buttoning up.
Yeah, I think they're more focused on getting the details down and not just being fucking tough. We're going to be fucking tough. Great. I liked it at the time, but the league isn't going that direction now. And so they're working on making sure that everybody knows their assignments. All the details are down. Every rep is being filmed. Every rep is going to be reviewed. It's just, they're going to be a much more buttoned down team, which is, something we asked for.
Yeah. And just to touch on that real quick. Yes. The physicality of camp and stuff. And sometimes it can work. Most of the time it doesn't. By the end of the season, your guys are beat up or worn out. And all I was going to say was that McCarthy did this before. He said he pounded his Packer team one year. It was too much contact too early, and you learn from it. And I feel like Mike T was a great motivator to a point, but maybe didn't learn from past experience.
Yeah, I mean, he learned from it his first year. He had him so beat up after his first camp, and they just ran out of gas. And injuries piled up as they got into the postseason, and he said he learned from it the next year, and they did win a Super Bowl, but I think that lesson didn't really sink in.
And 17 years later, they were not following that rule anymore.
Yeah, so you're probably not going to see the backs on backers drill. You're probably not going to see 7 shots. You won't see the old Oklahoma, the old Nutcracker drill. But, you're probably going to see a more buttoned up team, a team that everybody knows their assignment. They know where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, and I think, in this league, it makes a difference. You can't just out-tough everybody when their scheme is better than yours.
No, they're all tremendous athletes, so you just have to – and you got to come out prepared. Too many times they came out and looked lost, and we could talk about that another day, but not today.
Not today.
Yeah. Billy, I know I got to let you go, but I appreciate your time, and it was nice getting some time away with you as well, and I just wanted to pop on with a couple of these added topics, though I thought it was Tuesday. It's Thursday, so –
yeah,
I will.
Another day ending in Y. And honestly, every day is pretty much the same in this dystopian shitscape we're living in under these people. So what's the difference?
Excellent point. All right. Well, I'll let you go, and I'll catch up with you later.
All right. Sounds good. Nice job, buddy.
All right, you too. And I appreciate your time as always. I will
Oh, yeah.
catch up with you later and wish you a good afternoon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. I'll see you.
See ya.